Hey, it's Julian Gordon here, and I want to welcome you back to the Build Momentum 28-Day Challenge. Today, I want to talk about how to create a mastermind group of successful friends. In one of the previous videos, we talked about distinguishing between your social and successful friends. Now, we want to talk about how to bring that group of people together. But before we actually do anything, we want to get clear on what a mastermind group is. You may have heard the language before, but you may not know exactly what a mastermind is, and so I want to give you some of the key elements and ingredients. So, the mastermind principle actually comes from Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich. And in that book, Napoleon Hill defines a mastermind as a coordination of knowledge and effort of two or more people who work towards a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. Right? So that's a general definition from Napoleon Hill himself. The way I think about mastermind, or you may have heard language around it, is whenever two or more are gathered, or two heads is better than one, or to go fast, go alone, to go far, go together, right? You may have heard those kind of quotes. So we use this language and we have this awareness that whenever two or more are gathered, that there's a third energy, there's something else that is present that actually allows those two people to create more and do more and achieve more than they would have been able to on their own. So, some key elements of a mastermind in my mindset about it, and my definition, is that you meet consistently as a group, that there are hot seats or laser coaching, where somebody steps in the middle, shares a challenge that they have, and then the group collectively tries, the collective wisdom of the group helps them solve that problem or move forward and have a breakthrough, and that all members give and receive. A lot of relationships, especially our old education system, was really about just receiving information from someone. Whereas in a mastermind group, there's a give and take relationship. There's reciprocity always going on. You're not just taking. You're not looking up to somebody to be a guru or to guide you or to be an expert, but you actually giving what you can from your skill sets, from your knowledge, and from your experience, but you also take, and that has to be a balance. One of my favorite other definitions of a mastermind, it comes from Jack Boland. He says a mastermind group consists of two or more persons who meet regularly in an atmosphere of trust and harmony for the purpose of providing mutual support and encouragement, and to believe for each other things which each alone may find difficult to conceive and believe for himself or herself. Right? So imagine a space where other people are believing for you even when you don't believe yourself. Right? So people look at you and they see your highest self and they hold you to that, even if you don't feel like you're in your highest self. That's a very powerful thing. And so the reason this is important is because a lot of people, if you're watching this, you are smart. You're investing in yourself right here and right now just by giving this time, right? But a lot of us know how to do certain things. We know what's good for us, but we don't necessarily do. And I call that the knowing doing gap. And the reason we don't always do is because usually there's some feeling of inadequacy in us. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough talent. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough connections. I don't have enough charisma. Or I'm too old. Or I'm too overweight. Or I'm too loud. Or just a whole bunch of inadequacies and insecurities that come up from us that prevent us from, even though we know what to do, even though we have the directions, we have the book right in front of us, we've been told exactly what to do, and we know it's actually good for us, we don't always do because there's these blockages. And again, that's the knowing doing gap. And what that really comes down to is lack of belief in ourselves, first and foremost, lack of belief in a system. Is this going to work for me? And then lack of belief in success. So success is just luck, or that's not going, yeah, that worked for him or her, but I don't know if it's going to work for me. That's all luck, right? And when we attribute success to luck, then it just becomes a rolling of the dice, and we got to hope that we get picked, right? Picked by who, though? Right? I don't believe that success works in that way. I believe that there are laws that govern the universe, just like gravity. Gravity is going to have the same impact on you as it does on me. And if we actually understand those laws and access them and use them to our advantage, we can leverage them. The Wright brothers, the law of whatever laws they used, or how they worked with the law of gravity to actually cause a plane to actually fly, that was always available. Those laws that they were using in physics to get an airplane to fly, they were always available, but they tapped into them and leveraged them, right? There was no discrimination. These laws saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the Wright brothers to show up so that they can fly. No, the laws were always there. They just figured out a way to use them to their advantage. And so the power of a mastermind is that another individual can actually lay down a belief bridge for you. The belief bridge is really hard to build from our own end, but somebody who actually believes for us when we can't believe in ourselves actually can lay down the belief bridge for us and say, you can do it. Come on, I've done it before. I know you can do it. And that's a very powerful thing. And this is how we get over the knowing doing gap. Now, we're all familiar with negative peer pressure. You may have had it in high school the first time you drank or you smoked or even sex, right? It may have been a negative peer pressure type situation that caused you to do something that you didn't really want to do. And these people were calling you their friend, or you were calling them your friends at the time. And we want to actually flip that on his head, and what we want to do is access positive peer pressure. Not somebody getting us to do something that we didn't want to do for ourselves, but somebody actually getting us to do something that we do want to do for ourselves that is actually good for us, right? This person is supporting this person in actually doing their push-ups and holding them accountable. And actually, as you can see, the results are paying off. And I want to share with you this quick story about that a good friend of mine told me about this basketball coach who challenged one of his players to jump as high as he can and slap the backboard. And so the player got a running start, and jumped up as high as he could and touched a very high point on the backboard. And the coach turned to the player and said, is that the highest you can go? And the player said, yeah. And he said, jump the highest I can. And so I did. And coach said, you sure? And he said, yeah. And so the coach was like, all right. And so the coach went around the corner really quickly and got a ladder. And he pulled the ladder up to the backboard. And then he put a $100 bill on the top of the backboard. And he looked at the player and said, you sure that was the highest you could jump? And the player was like, no, I think I could jump a little bit higher than that. And of course, on the next try, the player actually jumped higher than he had previously, higher than what he said was his highest. And that's because he had a coach who believed in him and knew that he could get more out of him. You know, if I told you to give me as many push-ups as you possibly could, you might pump out 15. But all of a sudden, if I'm standing over you and I say, give me 3 more, all of a sudden you pump out 3 more push-ups. Where did those 3 more push-ups come from? Where did they come from? Were they always in you and you were just lying and cutting it short? Or was my presence actually helping you create a new possibility? And for anybody who works out, you know that the real gain in lifting is actually the stretch. It's those last sets, not the sets that you get too comfortably, but then the ones that cause you to stretch. And so I want to share with you my mastermind group for entrepreneurs. This is one of our Brooklyn meetups, and we gather twice a month, not always in person, but we get together and we support each other in achieving our goals and our growth goals in our personal lives and in our businesses. But I've also been able to help other people create mastermind groups all over. This is a group in Amsterdam. This is a group in Ottawa, a group in DC, another group in Minneapolis, another group in Detroit. So you can see that groups are happening all over. So I'm showing you this as a belief bridge to let you know that it is actually possible for you to create this community of people who not only support you, but you also get a chance to support and be a leader in their lives. And I have a framework for creating a mastermind. It's called the Mastermind Maker Formula, and it includes 1, your mission; 2, assemble the group; 3, kick it off; 4, enroll; and then finally rally the group. So I have an upcoming webinar that you should look out for that, and whether you want to create a free mastermind group or a paid group. So just keep an eye out for that, where I will actually go deeper into the formula of creating a mastermind. But for now, using your list from the previous module, I'm inviting you to actually choose maybe 5 to 10 people from that list, right? And send out this invitation to them. It's a custom personal invitation or a BCC'd invitation that you can send out to that group of people to actually initiate your first mastermind meeting. When you do this, when you knock down this first domino, it's actually going to send your year in a completely different direction, because now people will be coming to your living room. The moment that first person RSVPs, you've set something in motion, and now people are going to gather. You're going to share your goals. You're going to support one another. Say, I'm doing that goal too. I would love to help you. It's going to be a very powerful thing. So I really encourage you to get this email out. It's already written out for you. You can make some changes to the dates and the address, and all of a sudden your mastermind group is already in motion. And from there on the webinar, I'll actually give you more details in terms of how to make that happen, including a script to run your mastermind. All right. So I will see you in the next video. Right now, go send out this email to 5 to 10 people from your list. All right. Peace.